Hello and good morning, everybody. We're live here from the birdhouse. We are making our way through September. It is already September 23rd, if you can believe it, which means fall migration is on. And we have been getting reports of some different birds coming into people's backyards. So, as always, we love to know what kind of things you are seeing in your backyard while you're out hiking. If you've got any questions, you can put those in the comments, or you can just say hi. So we will get started. One thing that we do have going on here this week is we've got our photo contest voting, which started yesterday. So you can come in once per day to vote on your favorite photos from the birdhouse photo contest. We have different categories. We've got birds, we've got wildlife, scenery. We have a youth category, a pet category. So we got 260 photos in, and there are some really, really good ones. We've got the judges coming in today to make their official selections, but then we also have customers' choice voting. So that is all going on this week. You can come in and vote on your favorites. Another thing we've got going on this weekend is bird feeder cleaning day, and you can bring in your bird feeders to have them cleaned for free by the staff. And we are accepting feeders in starting yesterday as well. So you can bring in your feeders two at a time. We're asking that you only bring in two at a time, and we are getting through them real fast. So far we are caught up, but our big bird feeder cleaning event is on Saturday from 9 till 3, but you can drop off your feeders beforehand, but there's a limit of 2. So we've got that going on this week too. I had an interesting sighting this weekend for the first time in my life while I was out camping. I saw this little creature that was scurrying around. Sure enough, there was a porcupine who shared the day with all of us at the campsite. It was just kind of shuffling around through the tall plants, and then it would even go to hide in a tree. I don't know if you can really see it too well, but in the base of this tree, there's a little hollowed out spot. And when it was disturbed, it just kind of would go in there and hide. And you can see its little quills there on its butt, hiding in the base of the tree. If I were to have walked past the base of that tree, I probably would have walked right past it and had no idea it was even there. But I thought that was really, really cool. I had a great experience with seeing that porcupine for the day. So it'll be interesting to see if it hangs around or if it was just passing through. But loved seeing that. So that was really cool sighting that I had. But then you guys have sent in some photos too. Not only are the birds out, but different insects and butterflies are out in the yards and gardens, including this caterpillar. This is a picture sent in by Karen, who said, "Found this black swallowtail instar in my dill patch today. Hope he makes it before the weather turns." So this is a caterpillar of a black swallowtail. So check your dill, check your fennel, check your parsley. You might have some of these little guys on there as well. And it'll probably eat quite a bit and then pupate and spend the winter in that pupa. So really, really cool sighting there. From Karen. I would have thought that the caterpillars would have been done by this time of the year, but not necessarily, including the monarch butterflies. We've been raising some here at the store, and everything that we have as far as the monarch butterflies, they've all gone into their chrysalis. Most of them have hatched out. We had 2 monarch butterflies hatch out this morning, so they're kind of at the end of their development. And these are the butterflies that'll fly south for the winter, that'll go down to Mexico. So I haven't seen any monarch butterfly caterpillars recently, but you never know. You can check your plants and see. But it looks like a lot of them are in that chrysalis stage right now. And while we're not in the peak of monarch migration through our area, where I am in Western New York at the moment, there are still some around. I've still been seeing monarch butterflies passing around, flying high in the sky as they're making their migration south. And this is a picture of their overwintering habitat in Mexico, where millions and millions of monarchs will show up to spend the winter. So there's still some butterflies out there. I've been keeping a close eye on my haiku box, with it being migration season, to see if I can pick up any fall migrants that are coming through. The haiku box you keep plugged in, and the little unit this little white unit that says Haiku Box, that has a microphone on it, and it'll listen to all the birds singing in your yard all the time. So you can pick up any kind of birds that you have in your yard any time of the day. You don't have to be there actively hitting a button and hearing the bird yourself. Haiku Box will tell you exactly what it's hearing, and it'll send you notifications. It was sending me cedar waxwings the other day, and of course Canada geese. I've been getting lots of notifications about Canada geese because they're on the move and they are starting to migrate a little bit. But keep your ears open for things like ruby crown kinglet. I've been getting these in the backyard a little bit, and I might get more as the migration continues. These are small warbler-sized birds that hop around trees and shrubs. You might see them on the top of your the dead heads of your plants if you've kept your flowers untrimmed and you just kept them natural. A lot of the birds will eat the seeds from the seed head of the plant. The ruby crown kinglet is one of those. So you might see them hopping around in your yard. And then also golden crown kinglet will start to flow through the area as well. Another migrant, a bird that is migratory, is the red-breasted nuthatch. We do have them here all year, but we tend to have more in the winter. And we've been getting more and more reports of red-breasted nuthatches in people's yards, and they will come to feeders. So you might see them coming to your suet feeder, or if you have black oil sunflower seed out or sunflower hearts, peanuts, they'll eat all of those. So keep an eye out for the red-breasted nuthatch. It's a little bit smaller than the white-breasted nuthatch and just more common here in the wintertime, although some people do have them year-round. They are definitely more common in the cooler months. And the red-breasted nuthatch, just like the white-breasted nuthatch, is known to crawl around the base of the tree, around the trunk of the tree. But so are things like the black and white warbler. This photo was sent in by Mark J., who sent in a few warbler photos, including this bird. So it is fall migration, meaning some birds are coming in from the north to settle here for the winter. Others are flowing through the area to go further south for the winter. And the warblers are good examples of birds that are passing through to go further south. And black and white warbler is one. This is a very stripy bird, black and white, usually seen crawling on the trunk of a tree. Bay-breasted warbler, if you can see it there behind or in front of the leaf. Really cool photo there, a bay-breasted warbler. And then even a yellow warbler. So there are still warblers in the area, still warblers passing through. So enjoy them while they are still here, and then we'll have that massive resurgence of them coming back in May. Another bird I've been hearing quite a bit in my yard, and they'll be here through the end of the month and into October, is the gray catbird. You might be getting them, if you still have your Oriole feeders out, you might still be getting them eating the jelly in your backyard. They are a mimicking bird, so they'll mimic the calls of other birds, and of course they've got that call at the end of their repertoire, which sounds like a cat meowing. So that's the gray catbird. They are still around. And then if you've got flocks of blackbirds coming through to your feeders, keep an eye out for this bird. This is a rusty blackbird. It's not nearly as common as your red-winged blackbird or grackle or brown-headed cowbird, but when you have those big mixed flocks, they might be mixed in there. So keep an eye out for rusty blackbirds. They are migrating through the area too. American goldfinch will start to molt those bright gold feathers, but they're here all winter long, so make sure to keep those Niger feeders out. And we will be having a broadcast about the winter finch forecast, which should be released very soon. And that winter finch forecast will give us a good idea of how much of an eruptive year we might have of finches coming from the north, coming down here as south for the winter. And it all depends on the cone crop and how much seeds that all those pine cones have produced. And so while we have American goldfinches coming to Niger feeders all winter long, if it's a good eruption year for finches, you might start to see things like common redpolls or pine grosbeak coming down into the area. So we'll be having a broadcast with Matt Young of the Finch Research Network in coming up soon, and he'll be giving us all the details about what the winter will look like as far as finches and their eruptive behavior. So you definitely want to keep those Niger feeders out, because not only will you get American goldfinch coming to them, you might get things like pine siskin. If we do have common redpoll coming into the area, they come to these feeders in the winter. So sometimes you can get more birds coming to your Niger feeder in the winter than you do in the spring and summer months. Dark-eyed juncos, it's that time of the year where the dark-eyed juncos start to flow in. I had one show up on my haiku box as in my backyard, so it doesn't surprise me. These are common feeder birds in your backyards in the wintertime. And some people do get them in the spring and in the summer, but for the most part, they're just a winter bird for us. Really cool, easy to attract. They like sunflower seed, millet, sunflower hearts, and you usually see them hopping on the ground as they pick up the scraps from the feeder. And as birds are migrating through, they are not necessarily going to be in that bright, colorful plumage. A lot of these birds molt before they fly down south. Things like red-breasted or rose-breasted grosbeaks aren't going to be that same brightly colored bird that you're used to in the spring. So they do look quite a bit different in fall migration, but they're passing through. And we're starting to get more reports of white-throated sparrow coming to feeders, and soon we'll be getting more reports of white-crowned sparrow coming to feeders. So keep an eye out on and underneath your feeders for both of these sparrows. And then finally, hummingbirds. People are still reporting some hummingbirds. It seems from what people are observing, though, that the hummingbirds that are coming through are just passing by. They're not coming to multiple trips at the feeder. They're just kind of hanging out there, refueling, and then going on their way. But people are still reporting hummingbirds, and that won't surprise me. We'll keep hearing reports of them at least for another week, maybe more. So if you're still seeing hummingbirds here and there, I would keep your feeder out, because they will stop to refuel on their way south for the winter. So they are making their way down to Mexico and Central America. And there is waterfowl migration that, of course, happens. So keep your eyes out by any large bodies of water for some cool ducks and waterfowl. And we'll get more into that. We'll do a whole broadcast just on the waterfowl migration. But one of those birds that you might see flying in a formation like a Canada goose are snow geese. So keep an eye to the sky for them. Brant is a type of goose that you might start to see. And then there's lots of different water birds like the redhead, ring-necked duck, horned grebe that we will get passing through the area during fall migration. Some other photos that were sent in by Mark J. Here is a juvenile green heron who's hunting. A really cool picture here of the heron with its neck sticking straight out. We just finished our season of bird watching cruises, and we didn't see any green heron this year. Usually we do. We saw lots of egrets. We saw lots of great blue herons. We didn't catch any green herons this year on our cruises that we did, but they're definitely around still. And here's another photo. It looks like it's eyeing down that dragonfly. What we did see, though, are lots and lots of cormorants. We saw a whole bunch of cormorants on the last cruise that we did, which was last Tuesday. And you can find them by any kind of large open bodies of water. So we were on the Genesee River, and there were quite a few cormorants there. You can look for them around around Ocoee Bay, around any kind of big lakes around Lake Ontario would be another great place to look for these cormorants. And we have the double-crested cormorant is the species that we have around here. Let's see, that is everything I have prepared for you guys today. It looks like we do have a question on here from Steel Monkey, who says, Liz, I put the thistle seed out, but the goldfinches don't want any part of it right now. It seems they can't get enough of the sunflower hearts. They can kind of have different dietary needs at different times of the year. So we do hear that sometimes, where you can have a feeder full of fresh Niger seed, but they just want the sunflower hearts. I would make sure too with the thistle that the seed is fresh. The thistle seed can go bad after 2 or 3 months. It can dry out and then the birds won't eat it. So that is usually the reason why birds aren't coming to the thistle seed. But then also check to make sure your feeder is clean, because they can be pretty finicky about that. The thistle feeders can get moldy pretty easily. So you just want to make sure the feeder is totally clean and that the seed is fresh. And if that is the case, then hopefully they will make it back to your thistle feeder. So that looks like it's everybody's comments and questions for the day. If you are local, definitely come in and vote on our photo contest. There's so many great photos. And of course, we'll be announcing those winners live. Actually, next week already, a week from today, from Tuesday, we'll be announcing the winners of the photo contest. And then we've got our bird feeder cleaning event happening this Saturday. So you can drop off 2 feeders at a time before that. And so it's going to be a busy week here at the birdhouse. So until then, everybody have a great week, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.